Hey everybody, welcome to Fab Fit Friday. I don't know why Dottie's not paying attention to us. I just looked at my view and I can see that she's turned her back to us, but that's okay. We're going to be working on the back in a minute. This week, like last weekend, and this week was a little bit of a struggle for me. Nothing was wrong. It's just, do you ever have those weeks where you just don't feel like doing anything? Or I had all these other little natty things to do, so it kept getting in the way of doing the things I should have been doing. So as a result, I just want to apologize to everyone that I did not have any cool tool or a Fit Tip Tuesday, but I am going to be focusing on that this weekend, and I really want to get to the point where I have a month's worth of these things in the can, so when I do have a week or things going on, I don't have to skip doing my regularly scheduled tutorials. So I apologize for that, but I do have some good things coming. So I'll be sharing with you with that coming, in the next few weeks. I have my 3-day pants fitting coming up in a couple weeks. I'm super excited. I cannot believe it's like literally 2 weeks away, or a little more than 2 weeks away. What is it, 7th, 14th? Yeah, 2 weeks away. So really excited about that. If anybody is considering joining me for that, there are 2 spaces left. So if anyone would like to join me, please feel free to, check out the link in the description below. And you can see I'm currently having oh my god, I'm having a hot flash. Look at, so sorry. Every now and then I pink up with some hot flash, but it'll go away in a minute. It matches my my red skirt. So I want to talk about this skirt for a second, or my skirt. I had intended to finish it and wear it for you today, but when I put the shorts on, I was alarmed at how little the shorts did to conceal the fact that the fabric was see-through, or very see-through. Let me just stop and say hi to Carla and Sue. I'm not sure if Cindy's still here. She stopped in while I was still prepping to say she was heading off to lunch, but thank you for stopping in. And I love that you love my Dittoform. I love my Dittoform. I'm like, that's been part of my problem all week. I didn't want to work on anything except getting my cover done because I have so many plans for that. So I'm super excited about that. Hi, Sue from Iowa. Hello, hello. Hello, Victoria. Oh, we all have those times where we just need to lay low. Yeah, there was nothing wrong or bad. I just wasn't like motivated to do the things I should have been doing, mostly because I was distracted by her. Like I literally just, all I cared about the past week was working on this. I'm going to roll her over so you can see. And I've decided to create a princess seam style line with this Empire seam as well, because from the side view you can see that's a serious curve, and I wanted to get that contour all the way under my bust because I want to play with that later. Like the whole idea of this is, because this Dittoform is so close to my shape, I want to put a zipper up the front in my final cover and then zip it up and try it on myself so I can see where the little differences may be, if there are any. I don't even know, because I'll see when I see it. But then I can use those pattern pieces to design new things. So I'm very excited about this. Let me just stop and say hi to Laverne from Detroit. Hello. Laverne, you live right in Dittoform town. I don't know if you know this, but Carol, the owner of Dittoform, lives in Detroit. So if you're thinking of getting a Dittoform, getting a scan will be super easy for you because she probably lives right down the road from you somewhere. So that's kind of cool. Hey, Tana, welcome, welcome. First time you're here from the beginning. I'm waiting for the irrigation guy to come fix my sprinkler. Oh, good. Well, maybe he'll come, at a time where it's convenient for you to dip out. What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna talk about my skirt I've been working on. I'm a little mad, and I should have known better though, but I'm also a little mad. I thought if I put the black shorts under there, that would be enough to combat the fact that I'm using mesh fabric and it's a little bit see-through. But on the other hand, I would have to line it now because it's way too see-through. And also, I don't know what I'm going to line it with. So I'm going to talk about this for a second, and then I'm going to show you how to drape the back. Well, first I'm going to talk about my draping process and some of the changes I made. I'm going to show you my pattern pieces and show you some of that. Then I'm going to just drape these last two pieces. These pieces are going to be really easy to drape because, as you can see, there's almost no major, there's no bust in the back. That's the big thing. So the back is always easier to drape than the front. So if you guys are trying to drape something and you're new to draping, and you're working on a top, start with the back first because that's so much easier. So before I get carried away and keep going with that project, I want to switch my view, and I'm going to talk about the skirt for a second. Let me just say to RT Blades, hello, you're so excited you're here with me live. I'm excited you're here with me live too. And Coastal Constant says, hi Jen from Pennsylvania, yay. Oh, Laverne didn't know that. Yeah, you're right there. It's a very cool city. Actually, I flew out there to get my scan in 2020, right before the pandemic. I flew there and back in one day from Connecticut. It was a long day, but it was well worth it. So that was kind of fun. All right, let me switch my view here. So what I want to do is show you this. And if you remember, or if you look at, you know, the past Fab Fit Fridays where I was working on pleating it, you will see how rough and uneven the top edge was. So the first thing I did was I put it on and I decided how much I needed to trim off so I would have room to put a waistband on and have it, you know, sort of sit where I wanted it to sit. And that's important if you're using making it into a skirt, because you can see here I've got my shorts underneath, right? And so the height of this waistband is dictated by the length of the rise of my shorts. So I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had the waistline at the right spot to also go along with the shorts. So I put the shorts on, I put the skirt on, and then I pinned it where, you know, where the extra was sticking up above the shorts waistline. And then I trimmed it off and I found the quarters of the waistline of both things, and I pinned it together at the quarters, and I basically just stitched it together on my serger. And what I want you to notice here is, look how nice and clean that looks. The skirt was a good 4 inches wider than the shorts. So that means I had to ease in 1 inch every quarter. And I was wondering how it was going to lay, or if it was going to look gathered, but you can see, even if I turn it around, all it did was just push you know, it kind of just compressed the knit. And I really like the way that looks. I think that looks nice and clean, and professional looking. So I am very happy with this skirt. But because it's so see-through, I have to find a lining. So I'm going to take this stitching out. Okay. And then I'm going to put a lining in there, and I'm just going to make a simple A-line skirt out of something that will prevent it from being see-through, but also not make it too hot. And then I'll add the waistline on. So that's my plan for this, and I will get to it and finish it. But I'm not going to work on that now because I have no idea what I want to do, what I want to use for a lining. I didn't realize until a couple days ago that it was going to be too see-through. So that's my skirt project, and I will finish it and I will show you when it gets done. Oh, hi, Carla Graham from Little Old Kentucky. Well, Carla, did you know every year, well, let me start by this. Do you know that University of Kentucky has a master volunteer garment construction group? That is a group that you can join, and you can get training to become a certified volunteer, and then you can volunteer your time to teach sewing in the community. And 3 years ago, the director of that, Jeannie Badgett, contacted me, and she asked me if I would volunteer my time to teach at that training, and I go there every year. So this September, it's, let's see, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. I think it's the 15th or 14th of September. 14th, 14, 15, 16, 17. I think it's the 14th of September, whatever that Monday is. I am, oh, yes, Master Clothing Volunteer Program. I know, I keep making up all sorts of names for it. I actually have, where is it? Oh, look at, I have their bag. I love this tote bag, see? They made me an honorary member. So I call it different things, but basically I will be out there this September at the training. I'm very excited. I always look forward to that. I love it. So yeah, you've heard of that. Very good. All right, hold on one second here. Okay, so Tana's saying, are you going to remove the shorts? You won't need them if you're lining the skirt, right? Right. But also I'm going to leave the shorts because I don't wear skirts because I don't want my legs to rub together. So the fabric I used for the shorts is my Performance Sports Knit, which is Dry Max Antimicrobial. It's very comfortable. It's moisture wicking. So I will be leaving the shorts for my own personal comfort, but you wouldn't have to if you lined it. So that's a good question. Oh, Mary, it's okay that you're late. I'm just chit-chatting. Let me just show you quick. So I did attach the shorts to the waistline, and I just want you to look at how nice that looks. Look at it, how nice. And then that's all I'm going to talk about now because I have to take it apart and put a lining. It's too see-through. So I found out a couple days ago when I put it on, the shorts did nothing to hide the fact that it was see-through fabric. If you can see through it, like, can you see through it? You kind of can, see? You can see through it. It's just too see-through. So I'm going to be fixing that. So that's all I talked about so far. Oh, Carla's saying, how would it look with a similar color shorts under your skirt? Well, actually, the interesting thing is, let's look at it again one more time. Oh, Carla says, I hope to be in your my room host this year. Oh, good. I hope so too, Carla. Well, if not, we'll at least have time to catch up and get together. I love it. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. All right. Let me just show this one more time here. So what I want you to notice here, I'm going to brighten up the lighting here to show you. I've got black fabric in there, right? But if you're looking at it from the right side, it really doesn't change. So like here is the shorts, and then here there's no shorts, right? There's no shorts under here. This is just the fabric. And then the shorts are up here and over here. It really doesn't change the look that dramatically. So I don't know if changing the color of the fabric underneath would make that big of a difference. I don't know. I just know that this really, and I should have known that putting shorts under there wouldn't be enough. That's my bad. But in any case, I will be finishing this and I will show you my final results, and I'll show you the fabric that I'm going to use to line it once I find it. I looked for something in my stash and I couldn't find anything. So, all right, let me do this. Okay, what we're going to do now is I've got my, I'm going to move me over here for now. And I'm going to slide this over so I'm more in the middle. Okay, all right, so I'm using this really light, this is almost like a cotton batiste fabric. It's a very lightweight cotton to work with on my Dittoform. And this is the piece I'm going to use. I'm going to show you how to prep it to drape the back of the cover. But before I do that, I'm just going to hang this up over here so I don't get it wrinkled. I want to show you my things. And I think it will help if I put my gray Sew Tights mat here, because it'll just give a better contrast of what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so these are my pieces, and I just want to show you, I had to do some, let's look at the top pieces first. Okay. So when I made the first version, when I draped this the first time, what happened was after I draped each piece, I'm trying to get it so it's easier for you to see here like this. Okay. So as I draped each piece, you know, I put them on, and then once I had all 4 pieces made, I sewed them together and tried them on. And what was happening was the shoulder was way too long and it was almost twisting a little bit. It wasn't hanging straight. So one of the things about draping is you have to be really careful as you smooth your fabric so you don't stretch it and pull it and make it go ways it doesn't want to go. You want the fabric to be able to hang nicely from the shoulder, you know, from center front. You should be able to put 1 pin at center front and have it hang straight down without it, you know, needing to be forced to hang straight. So to correct what was happening in my first version, I'm going to take these pins out here. I left this on here to show you. So based on how it was fitting, I took out the center seam. Okay. And I cut off this much here. Okay. And then going down, if I pull this down a little bit, going down here, I let the seam go, and I actually had to add a 1/2 inch in here. So you can see my red line is where it was, and then I added the seam allowance, or that was my new stitching line where it's red, and then I had to add the seam allowance back in. So I actually made it bigger here. Another thing that happened that I was really surprised about was, you know how when you're working on a princess seam, this is usually longer and you ease it into this, right? So I had to ease it in, and when I put it on the dress form, it just wouldn't lay flat. It was just all like ripply, and it just looked yucky. So what I did was I did a wedge adjustment where I got rid of some. I think I got rid of about a 1/2 inch here, okay, to 0 over here. So I did a wedge adjustment. I slashed and overlapped it here to get rid of some of it. And then I'm going to show you when I tried it on again, I actually had to do it again to get rid of a little bit more. So for some reason, I didn't need this to be significantly longer than this for the cover, which I found surprising. Maybe it's because I'm also not depending on the princess seam line to create my cup shape. Notice I put 2 darts here that are at the empire waist level. And the reason why I did that is because it was the easiest way for me to get the fabric to curve around my G cup shape. And it's going to create interesting, you know, it's interesting because I'll be able to use this as an empire waist bodice if I want to create different styles. And I already have this here. And if I wanted to connect it and rotate this dart someplace else, I could. So I think this is going to be an interesting shape. And then if we look at what happened below, so this is the top sections. I'm going to put those right here. And then I'm going to take the bottom sections and just put them right underneath here. So after this dart is closed, this was my, the lower part. And you might notice here, this area right here, where this blue line is, like all of this, I had to add a wedge there because it wasn't hanging straight. And then I trimmed some off here. And then you can see over here, I added some here and I trimmed off here. So it's almost like I had to shift the fabric over this way to get it to hang straight. And that's, you know, that's part of the process when you're draping. You drape the pieces, you sew them together, and then you put it back on and you see what it's doing. So these were my final pieces, and those are the things I did to fix them. So now let's take a look at how it fits on my Dittoform right here. Okay, so here she is. I want you to be able to see this, you know, pretty, as much of it as you can here. Move it this way a little bit. Okay, so my seam is right here. Okay, so it comes just to the inside of my apex. So it's slightly over from my apex, and then it comes down like that. And the seam here, the first thing I did was, you can see, I tried to follow this style line of a point, and that got too picky. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that point. So I cut it off. I cut that little triangle off, and I taped it to the upper part. So now the lower part is more of a soft curve here. Much easier to sew, and it still lays neat and tidy. And the thing I want to show you is, if I take out these pins, notice the only pin I have holding the center front down is the pin at my center front at the neck. So notice if I turn it this way, you can see it pretty accurately follows the contour of my shape. And that's what I was hoping for. So I've got that the way I like it. And if we look at it from this side, you can see I had to take out another, I would say almost another 1/2 inch. So I unsewed it, okay, and that's where I realized I wanted to get rid of this little wedge as well. So I got rid of this little wedge right here on this side, and then I created this pleat here, and I still need to transfer this to my pattern. I haven't transferred this to it yet, but I did cut this wedge off, because what I did to realize it was too big here was I actually created a pleat like this, you know, down here. And then once it was on my work table, I measured what I pleated out here, and I just took it off the edge of this piece. So that's how I got this to fit. Okay, and that's, you know, again, that's how I like that. So now the last step for me is to I'm just pushing my, I gotta figure out how I can make it a little bit, there we go. Okay, so the last step is going to be, we want to drape these sections. And like I said, if you're new to draping, working on the back is so much easier because it's a much easier contour to create. Now I am not gonna continue this empire waist to the back. I'm going to leave this all one piece back here. If I want to create an empire waist garment, I can just cut my pattern there and add seam allowances. So I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to make a center back and a side back piece. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it, because it's relatively easy compared to the front. Move this out of the way. And I've got my, oops, I've got my fabric here. And let me just switch my view. Let me switch my view back, sorry. All right, oops. Okay. No. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this piece is going to be big enough for both the center back and the side back. So what I'm going to do here is, I want to make an L-shaped guideline to be straight with my fabric to put on here. And what I'm going to do, we're working from, you know, from, oh, let me make this big, a little bit bigger here for a second. Okay, just so you can see her while I'm also talking. We're working from center back out, right? So that means I need to create a L shape going this way. And if you don't have an L-shaped ruler, I do have an L-shaped ruler, but sometimes if I can't find it, or if, you know, I'm just too lazy to go get it, a quilting ruler is also an L-shaped ruler, because you can use the long straight side for one side, and then the short end to get the other part of your L down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little mechanical pencil, and I'm eyeballing it so this ruler is, you know, parallel to the grain of the fabric here. I'm not super, you know, I'm not going to measure because this is for this part, you know, I'll be close enough. But basically I'm going to draw myself a long line like this, and then I'm going to draw a line down here. Okay. All right, so I've got that L shape. I think you can see it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from, because I'm going down to my torso down here. I'm going to measure how far it is from here to here. And I'm going to draw another horizontal line to use for my waist, just to give me a guide to make sure I'm going straight. So it is, oops, I'm sorry, I'm going to go this way. So from the tape to the tape, it's 7 3/4. I'm sorry, 7 5/8. No, I'm going to do 7 3/4 because from the top of the tape to the top of the tape is 7 3/4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 7 3/4 here, like this, and I'm just going to draw a little line right here. Okay, then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up like this. So I'm lining it up here, and I'm making sure that the bottom line I drew, which is a 90-degree angle, is on the ruler, and then that will allow me to create this guideline. Okay, so I know that this is going to be my waist. That's my waist right there. And then also, you know, I'm just going to take a quick measurement on my dress form for the widest part of this section. So I want to do this section first, and the widest section is going to be up here at my shoulder, and that's about 6 inches. So that means I need my strip of fabric to be, let's make it 7 inches from my vertical line. So what I mean by that is I'm going to measure it from here, the line I drew, out 7 inches. So I'm just going to go like this and draw myself, you know, a guideline there, 7 inches there, and then I can continue those up. So basically I can connect those like this, and I'll cut them. But also what I have to do is make these 7 inches long. I'm just going to make that 7 inches, and I'm going to make this go 7 inches. And that's just going to give me a guideline to make sure I'm doing everything straight. And then obviously I'm going to extend these up all the way. I pre-measured this fabric to make sure it was long enough to drape this piece. So I do believe I have enough vertical length in this fabric piece to do this. So see, quilting rulers do have a place in garment sewing. And just to make sure I get it right up here, I'm going to make 7 inches over here too. So I am going to, like that. All right, so now what I can do is I can actually cut this, just cutting on the line like this. Okay. Now I could have measured, you know, from the hem up to, oops, not that. Ooh, sorry about that. Sorry. That's my zoom. That's my zoom setup when I do guess. Okay. So I could have, you know, started up here, you know, and drawn this line. Like a lot of times you'll see people draw this horizontal line. I don't know that it really matters. I'm just gonna line this up. But what I am noticing is I need, now here's why I probably should have just done it from here, because if I put the waist at the waist, now this is about 1 inch too high. So I'm just going to use these as guidelines to make sure they're running parallel to the tape underneath. And this fabric does not quite make it. It almost does. I just want to make sure I have enough to drape the shoulder up here. All right, so I'm going to start by pinning the center back on the center back. Oh, all right, hold on one second. See, this is why I think I always have enough of everything and then I don't. So let me just go back and draw myself another line because I did screw up. Hold on one second. I totally messed that up. So let me just put my view back here for a second. I'm going to give myself another inch because I can. I'm going to give myself another 3/4 of an inch. Like this. All right. This is what happens when I'm sitting here for 10 minutes waiting to start Fab Fit Friday and I start thinking about everything and I'm thinking how I have everything all locked and loaded and ready to go. All right, so then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my waist up an inch and a little bit here. Here we go. This will be my waist. Okay, this is not my waist. This is my waist. Okay, now we're going to be golden. Okay, so again, I'm going to stick this at my waist. All the lines in the back are parallel. Oh, see, even that's even too... Oh, I went the wrong direction. All right, whatever. I'm going to put it like this. The important thing is I'm going to get my center back right on my center back. And I want to talk about the pins you're going to use. You don't want to use your magic pins. You don't want to use any expensive silk pins. They will bend. Use the stainless steel flathead pins because they're stronger and you're not going to bend your pin. So I'm going to put this one at center back at the top of the neckline, at the base of the center back neckline. And then I'm just going to get it, you know, line that up. And as you can see here, this is not going to be super challenging because it's a pretty straight shape back here. So you can see I've got that all the way pinned all the way down my center. Now when I did my front, I used the full bust line as my guideline. So I was higher where the action was. I didn't use the horizontal balance lines here. I used the one up here because that's where my curves were. But in the back, I just kind of feel like, you know, it really isn't going to matter, you know, that I started making sure this was, you know, this was. Now note, that I'm using this lower horizontal line. Now look what's happening. As I try to smooth it, see how it's fighting? So what you're going to do is you need to have a pair of scissors. And I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to snip because I don't need the width over here. Where I need the width is up here at the shoulder, right? So I'm just going to cut that. And actually, because I know I don't need that, I'm going to cut this off like this, just so it doesn't weigh things down. Okay, and then I'm going to pin this right here at the intersection of the waist. So all these lines I drew, I went in the wrong direction. That's okay. It'll be fine. They're all parallel to my horizontal lines. And I'm just going to gently smooth. Notice I'm not pulling it and trying to really, you know, I'm not like torturing the fabric. You just want to get it so it's laying flat and not stressed. And I'm just going to go in and put some clips here just to get it to lay nice. So see how nice that lays when you then clip where it starts to curve. So I'm allowing this to open a little bit because it curves there. So that's how that is draped. Then as I come up, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trim some of this off because I don't need, you know, I really don't need a lot of this. And even up here, well, no, that I'm going to leave. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and clip into this side like this. So see, I'm clipping it like this, and that's going to allow me to create the shape. Oh, Cindy says, I really need to learn how to make a muslin on a form. You make it look so easy. Did I make it look easy? I drew my waistline in 14 different places and it's still not in the right spot. But now that it's on here, I can go ahead and show you, you know, here's where it is. And you can see this is running parallel to the lines I drew. Well, pretty parallel here. Actually, it's not parallel. Like that. So it's pretty parallel to that. So I've got that nice. It's really about taking your time and just letting the fabric smooth, and then also knowing that if you're trying to, you know, get this to conform to a shape, you know, I can come in and I can really clip this close. And you can see what that's allowing me to do now is it's allowing me to just, you know, smooth it without stretching it or forcing it. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pin at my intersection of this, you know, this is the full bust level in the front. Okay, so that's good. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm gonna clip some of this off. I don't need some of this, so I'm going to clip. The less you have, you know, the less you have dangling, the more accurate you can be. Okay, and then, so see what I'm going to do here is I am going to just keep putting some pins in here. So I'll put a pin right here at my high upper back, okay? And see, I've got that laying nice. And again, here, I'm going to clip in really close to this line so I can allow it to just lay curved. So see how I've got that nice shape now? So I would recommend, Cindy, try working on the back first. The back is so much easier than the front. Okay, so you can see how I've got that. My camera is like freaking out. Okay, so now that I've got that, okay, and let's see up here. Oh, good. I am about, and look, I did it again. I am literally about half an inch too short of fabric right here to meet my shoulder seam. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark my neckline like this. And what I'm doing is I'm feeling for that tape underneath the muslin, and I'm marking the shape of the neckline here like this. And then I'm going to make a note, add 1/2 inch, and then blend to, okay, and it'll blend to 0 when you get to the other thing here. So I'll show you what to do if this happens. You would think I could have the biggest piece of fabric in the world and still end up with not enough fabric. It's annoying. Okay, so see what I'm doing here? I'm marking all the way down, and really I should put some pins to hold it on this side, a couple more pins here. So let's put a pin here. So you can see I'm basically creating the section. I'm going to put a pin right here. I'm just going to smooth this around the top of the shoulder like this. Okay, so where I get to, where the tape meets right at the shoulder, it touches the front shoulder. So that works out. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch. Let me just double check that. I'm going to measure, and then I'll show you how to fix it. So if you run out of room, for example, all right, let me just measure this. Yeah, it's exactly 1/2 inch. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to mark the rest of this. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just marking along the tape, and that's going to create my shape for my, oops. I'm going to go all the way down like this. And then down at the bottom here where my tape actually is, again, I think you can see at this very bottom, I'm a little short. So I'm going to measure how much I'm short. I am short, oh good, a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to add a 1/2 inch here. And then this is where the line is here. So I'll just connect that on the pattern. So there's the hip line right there. And you can see I just marked all of that. All right, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that off. I was trying to use this one piece of fabric to finish this project and it got a little snug, and I think that's why I'm a little bit short. So I was trying to, you know, fix it. All right. Oh, Dolores says, take your time. You said the magic words. You do have to take your time, you know, and also it's a little bit, I don't know if any of you have tried to talk and engage with people while you're also working. Sometimes I get myself a little bit because I'm talking and I'm working, so sometimes that happens too. Victoria says, I'm having fun fitting my pants muslin on my form. Now I have to figure out how to transfer to my pattern. Well, my advice for that, Victoria, is the minute you make an adjustment on your muslin that's working, you want to transfer that to your pattern. Try not to wait until the end, because then sometimes things get lost in translation. All right, let's look up here first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my French curve to make this line nice. You can see it's not a smooth line here, so I'm going to go ahead and make it smooth like this. I'm going to draw it dark too so you can see. Okay, so see how nice and smooth that is? And I'm just going to go down the entire length of this line, and I'm going to just make it nice. So see, I'm not agreeing with every hash mark I made. I'm actually, you know, finding the middle of the road in places. Now at the bottom here, it kind of pops out a little bit right here. So like from here, like this. Like that. Okay, and then at my waist area, it should be the smallest. So something like this. All right, so there's the shape of this outside line, okay? And what I'm going to do up here is I'm literally going to take a scrap of this fabric, this scrap right here, and I am going to physically tape it onto my fabric like this. So I'm going to use my Scotch tape, and I am just going to tape it on because I just need it to stay on there for a hot minute. I'm going to tape it on the other side too. So you can Scotch tape your fabric. It will stay for a little bit, enough to get the work done. So I had to add a 1/2 inch here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that like this. Okay, and then I'm going to blend to 0 like this. Okay, so that's going to fix the fact that I ran out of fabric there. So that fixes that. Has anyone tried to use Scotch tape on their fabric before? If anyone has, let me know, because look see, that's staying pretty good. So even if you're working with whatchamajigger fabric, you can tape it back together if you cut something you shouldn't have. So keep that in mind. Now down at the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. I have to add a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to grab a piece of, a bigger piece off the floor. Do I have a bigger piece? No. All right, I'm just gonna, I have big scraps over here. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm not making a total Frankenstein pattern here. All right, so here's my scrap here. And again, I am just going to tape this on like this. And I'm going to turn around and tape it on the back. Okay, and then I'm going to also extend this down a 1/2 inch. Like that. And I'm going to connect this like this for now. Okay, so that's going to fix the fact that I ran out of fabric down there. Yep, just to hold things in place while you're sewing it. I'm not going to sew this one. This one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make this into a paper pattern, and then I'm going to cut it out again out of something else. I've run out of this fabric, so for now I just need to have the shape. And I want to add a seam allowance too. So that finishes the neck. I mean the neck to the shoulder. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing for the side back piece. I'm just going to hang this up over here on my light. Okay, so I'm going to get this piece, and I have all of this. I need it for, whoops, let me switch my view. Oh, why do I keep picking Zoom? Okay, here we go. Oh, bye, Cindy. Thank you for joining me during your lunch. Okay, now we're draping from here down to here. So our widest spot is down here now. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take off the front so I can see my side seam here. I'll just do that. I'll just pin it over here for now. So we have to go from here to here, and we're getting all of this now. So I need to make sure my fabric is at least, it's 6 inches, so we'll do 8 inches. And I don't have, you know, I had the center back as a guideline for this. So for this piece, all I'm going to do to create a guideline is I'm going to, let me switch my view back so you can see. I'm going to just draw myself, I'll just go right here. So I said 8 inches. So if I go 4 inches from this edge, like this, I'm just going to draw a line straight down the middle, and I'm just going to draw it down the entire length of this fabric, like this. I'm going to make sure I don't run out of fabric this time. All right, so I've got that, and then let's use the top. I'm going to use this high back. Oh, actually, let me use the full bust level. Full bust level is, I'm sorry, it is, it's about 12.5 inches from the shoulder. So I'm going to measure 12.5 inches down. Right there. And then I'm just going to draw a sort of a T here, like this. So this is going to be where I'm going to line up the muslin on my balance lines. Now here's the thing. I don't need this whole width here, so I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just cut it like right here. This will be fine. I'm just gonna rip it. Okay, so you can see here, the whole thing is you just need something that you can use as a balance for what you're doing on your dress form. So I'm going to switch back over here, and I'm going to line this up right here. like, oh, we got to get off of my pins. Like this. So I'm going to just line it up so that, oh yeah, I can't, oh, okay, that was dumb, sorry. I'm going back to my table. Hold on. I am going to actually put this line, I'm going to put it over here. No, it doesn't matter. All right, so this vertical line this is not, oops, sorry, hold on one second. This is not parallel to the floor, so it is not a balance line like the center back. So I'm not going to line up that line with anything. I'm just going to make sure I line this up in a way where it meets my, it covers all my areas like this. So I'm going to line this up. Horizontal line is going along the high bust, or I'm sorry, full bust. And I'm just gonna pin that right here. And I'm gonna make sure it goes all the way around to the side here. Oh, can we see what we're doing? Let's move ourselves over. There. Okay. So it has to go from there all the way to here. Okay. So I'm gonna pin that. And then I'm going to smooth this up. And again, you can see how it's starting to fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip over here, because all of this, we do not need all of this. Okay, so see how when I release all of this armhole stuff all around the, the side of my, I'm just going to cut all this off here. That's going to help it not fight. Smooth that right up. And then, see how that's already starting to lay better? All right, so I'm just going to allow that to do its thing. And then the same thing down here, I'm going to clip into here. Oh, I clipped too far. I'm going to clip here, clip, 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 clip. And I'm also going to clip on this side, because this is, we don't need that. So allowing it to relax is going to allow us to get the shape we need. We're trying to line it up or mark along here like this. So again, I'm just going to pin right into here. And this is my outer edge, or actually the inner edge. And then we're going to come all the way down to here. Okay. All right. Just going to pin it, every few inches I'm putting a pin. If it was more, the more shape you're creating, sometimes I'll add more pins or less pins. But the whole idea is you just want it to smooth out. And now the goal is we want to smooth it to the side seam now. Okay, so we're smoothing this to the side seam. And you can see, because I've clipped all of this, it makes it easy to capture that shape. So I've got that there. Just smooth it right across. this. Now we have an armhole, so I want to make sure that I mark all of that. Okay, and then I'm going to go in here up at the top, and I'm literally going to really clip in close to these, you know, close to where my armhole seam is, like that, so I can get it to lay right where it needs to lay. Ouch. I cut my finger in a really bad, inconvenient place for using pins. Oh, I keep jabbing it. All right. So basically now I'm just gonna do this so I've got it all nice and lined up with my armhole. Like this, up at the shoulder. And then I'm gonna mark it and I'm gonna take it off. So basically, starting at the shoulder, and then I'm going to come straight down. Let me just do this one first. So see, I'm just following along like I did before. And I'm always working on the outside of the tape. So I'm always using the same side of the tape. So I'm not losing the 1/8 inch. This is 1/8 inch wide tape. So as long as you either use the right side all the time or the left side all the time, you'll be pretty accurate. And I can feel it under the fabric. Okay, and then I'm going to mark my shoulder to my armhole edge here, and I'm just going to mark my back armhole. All right, and I'm just going to go all the way to the side seam. And then I'm going to mark my side seam, which is right here, like this, like this, like this, like this. And I'm just going to mark that all the way down. Well, and I can go up too. All right, so let's take a look and see how that looks. All right, let me show you how that looks. I had just enough fabric this time. So I used the stump of my neck as my pin cushion, so I can leave some pins up here. All right, and you can see the Dittoform is very pinnable. It's very nice to work with. Okay, let's see what I have here. Oops. All right, let's look at this one. All right, let's take a look at this. Let me switch my view. Okay. All right, you can see that I have this sort of funky shape. We're going to see how that works out, but basically I'm going to use my French curve to straighten that out as well. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to use my pencil. I'm going to have to verify this. Like, it may be that I need to change the shape a little bit, but it looks like that's a little wackadoo there. I'm going to have to, yeah, I don't know. That looks a little funny to me. Yeah, let me just smooth this out a little. So my first one So my plan for this is once I make the first one, I add seam allowances and I sew it together, and I'll put it back on the Dittoform with the seam allowances faced out and the seams actually basted together. That way I can let this inside seam out and fine tune the position of it when I've got the two pieces together on the Dittoform. But basically, this is going to be my shape. And see, I'm going to really take my time. I'm going to do a second, I'm going to fine tune this, and then I'm going to cut it out and make it into a cover. And I really can't wait because like I said, I'm so excited to, work with these pieces that actually fit me. My shoulder. That's my back armhole. Okay. And then my side seam kind of comes in a little bit here. And then it comes back out. And this is the shape I'm kind of expecting to see. So I'm kind of happy to see that shape because that's kind of my shape. I'm kind of like square, or I don't have a lot of curve, so. Okay. All right, so there's my side seam shape. And then I'm gonna draw the shape. All right, so that's the basic steps for draping. Let's just connect these for now. Okay, so that's the basic steps for making the back. So if I bring back my other one, what did I do with, oh, here it is over here. You can see those kind of look like they're going to go along with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make paper pattern pieces. I'm going to cut them out with seam allowances, baste them together up the middle, put it back on my Dittoform, and then fine tune that seam between the center, back, and side. So that's how I'm going to finish this. Then I'm going to sew it together at the side seam with the front, just make sure the whole half works. Then I'm going to make a full cover with a zipper. Super excited. Now, what's another thing I'm going to be doing with this? Let me just show you one more thing before I go. Remember my lovely little half scale girl? I am going to figure out how to shrink down these pieces to create a shaped half scale pattern pieces that I can stuff, and then I will have a mini me. So I'm really excited about doing that as well. So that's another thing I'm going to be doing with this. I'm going to be creating a mini me dress form by creating a muslin cover that goes on here that I will then stuff. Because you can see if I take off this little half scale bodice I have on here, you can see this is not helpful to my figure. You can see it's much more curvy than me, and the bust is nowhere near my size. So I'm really excited to work with this with a padded cover on it using scaled down pieces from my Dittoform. So very excited about that. All right, so yep, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Next week, you will get to see the finished cover, and I will share all the things with you next week. Maybe I'll wear my cover and then put it on my Dittoform during next Fab Fit Friday. Okay, Tana's asking me, did Dittoform add those tape lines, or did you add them? That's a great question. Let me take this off and I'm going to show you what it comes with and what I added. Okay. Now, you'll notice all the tape on here looks the same because she gives you more tape. So there are some lines on here that she put. She did the little V neck, and you can see I curved it there. I made it curve around. I did the same thing in the back. Oh no, I guess, yeah, in the back, I just fixed it so it went straight. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see. In the back, they kind of crisscrossed here, and I made them go straight across the back. There was a center back. There was a center front. There was this line under the bust. And I think there was also the full bust. I'm pretty sure. If you look at my unboxing video I did a couple weeks ago for Fab Fit Friday when I was teaching my semi-private fitting classes, you can see what the actual tape lines were. The other tape line she put on here, she put this one way down here with the center front. I added the waist where I wanted it. I added the princess style lines, and then I also added these because at the time before I started draping, I wasn't sure. I was almost going to make a pieced cup like this. I almost did a pieced cup, and then I decided not to do that because I could have draped, you know, these 4 sections separately and made a pieced cup, but then I felt like that would be a lot to put back together to work on for other styles. So that's why I went with the darted version that just has darts down here for shaping. So I added some of the lines and some of them came, but again, all the tape on here, you get extra tape. In addition to that, you also get, I want to say this is like a linchpin. I don't know if it's a linchpin. The big pin. Hold on, I'm having trouble grabbing it because of my nails. Hold on. You get a thing to, if you want to hang your Dittoform, you get these things to hang it. So you can hang it from the neck versus putting it on a pole. And it also comes with a little rubber top to put on the top of the pole if you're not going to hang it. There's little holes in here for this thing to go into. So you can hang it, and then here's the little hanger. Or if you've got a pole, you can put it on here. I can tell you another thing I'm kind of excited about trying is, you guys know, and I think Victoria has a bootstrap pants form. Do you guys know about bootstrap fashion patterns? They have custom patterns that you can buy, and they also have custom dress form things that you can buy. I'm gonna buy the legs because imagine this. If I get the leg form and I sew it together and I get it to fit me, I could stop stuffing it right at this level and then put it on like shorts. You know, it could almost be like shorts to the waist maybe, right? And then I can just shorten my cover to here, and I would have a full length with legs pants form. In that case, I might end up hanging it. And if I hang it, I'm going to hang it on my handy dandy full body that I have right here. So I have a thing ready to go if I'm going to hang it. You know, so I can hang it off of that up there. So, because this is nice for teaching, but it's a size 6 and it's tiny, so it's nowhere near my size. But like I said, if I make my legs work on here, I could stuff it right up to the base and then not stuff the top part, because I don't need to worry about getting my butt right. My butt is right here, right? So this is my behind. So all I need really is the legs. That should be pretty easy. So I'm going to be doing that too, and maybe making a full body dress form and then hanging it off of the full body dress form pole I have back there. So I am kind of excited about that as well. So those are the things I'm working on. But I mean, if I twirl her around, you can see she's got all of my curves. So, oh, see, I didn't put the princess style line in the back on this side, and I didn't put the princess seam on this side either. You can see I only did it on the side I was draping. So that's another thing to think about. If you're going to drape something on your Dittoform or any dress form, you only have to tape up the side you're working on, you know, unless it's an asymmetrical design and you need to, you know, have the differences. So yeah, so that's all my excitement. Oh, Victoria hung her bootstrap pants form from an IV pole that she bought off Amazon. That was actually one of Carol's suggestions to hang. You can hang your Dittoform off of an IV pole too. And here's the funny thing. This is how silly I am. When I knew my first one was coming, I quickly ordered an IV pole from Amazon forgetting that I had extra real dress form poles. This is an extra dress form pole for, yeah, I have this vintage girl back here. See that vintage girl? That's a Woof 1955 size 9 dress form. So I took that pole and I put my Dittoform on it. So I didn't need the IV pole, but when it came, the end was kind of not taped together properly and half the pieces were missing. So that was kind of gross. I didn't even bother returning it. I was so annoyed. But you can get an IV pole to hang this on. And then, you know, you can use these pieces to hitch it up to the little pole on top above the neck. So it's very convenient and it's very fun. And I'm super excited. So yay, that's all the things I wanted to do today. I promise you I'm going to be hard at work this weekend shooting video so I don't skip things like I did this week. And I'm really looking forward to 3-day pants fitting in 2 weeks. So exciting. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So those are my reports for today. If anybody has any questions about any of this, please post those below and I will help you. I want to thank everybody for joining me. I want you to know I really look forward to coming on every week and hanging out with you guys. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hang out with me. And yeah, so I'm excited. So that's all I have for today. I might have some fun announcements for next week, so stay tuned for that, for other events coming up. So I will be making some announcements. Some of them have nothing to do with me, as a matter of fact, but I'm going to share some other fun that other sewing teachers are doing next week. So make sure you tune in for that. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm happy to report that I put my ice spikes in my pockets, and I didn't need them, because I was worried the trail up at the top would be still icy because there was like 3 inches of ice on there on Tuesday and the rain washed it all away. So I can now hike ice bike free. Super excited. All right. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you next Friday with a completed cover. All right. Oh, I'll put a link to the original draping video I did for the original cover I did. It's a little bit of a different style, but it has all the steps. So if anyone wants to follow step by step to make a cover, I'll put that there as well. So thank you so much. Oh, Carla says, great meet and enjoyed watching. Well, I'm so happy you joined me, Carla, and I can't wait to see you. Oh no, I'm going to see you. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's 2 Carlas in this group. One Carla's going to be in Kentucky with me and one's not. I'm so sorry. I confused you with the other lady. Oh no! Bonnie, how are you? You're not late. You've been listening and watching. Been listening and watch again for sure. Well, wonderful. Thank you for joining us. You don't have, you know what? Like if you want to turn me on and just listen in the background while you're working on something else, that's wonderful. I do that sometimes. I'll put on, you know, if I know one of my sewing friends is doing a video, I'll put it on and I'll listen to it in the background while I'm working. You know, I don't comment. Most of the time I'm just sort of listening in and whatever, but that's fine too. All right, you guys. Bye-bye. Oh, bye-bye, Bonnie. See you guys later. Bye-bye.